Hello, and welcome to Soviet Theater. Tonight we will be showing the movie about Momma Nuushka and her mini grandchildren. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, beep. Okay, so once upon a time, a very long time ago in Soviet Russia, Momma Nuushka was walking along the road when suddenly she has a strange feeling in her underpants. Realizing what has happened, that her water has broke, they rush her to the nearest hospital, where they decide to cut her open for a C-section. Wait just a minute. Why does it always have to be a C-section? Why can't we just have like a natural birth or something? Okay. So they rush her to the nearest hospital, where Momma Nuushka decides to have a natural birth. So she pushes and pop! Oh, sweet mother of all that is holy, that hurts so bad! Oh, okay, I'm not doing that again. So she picks up the baby and carries her home, where they live happily ever after for about 4 years. And they are walking along the road, when suddenly, Baby Nuushka turns to her mama and says, "Mama, I have a strange feeling in my panties." Realizing what has happened, her mother picks her up and rushes her to the nearest hospital, where they find out that she is pregnant. So, they decide to cut her open for a C-section. "No, Mama," says little Baby Nuushka. I do not want to have a C-section. I want to have my babies the natural way, like you had me." "No, little Nuushka. Your mama knows better. Trust your mama. You do not want to have birth the natural way. It hurts like the devil." But little Nuushka would not listen to her mother. "Hey, wait just a minute. Aren't you like 4 years old or something? Why are you pregnant?" So, so anyway, she starts having the baby in the natural way. And so she pushes and pop! The pressure flew her head off! And she died. So Momma Nuushka runs up and picks up the baby and carries her home and treats her as if she is her own child. And so little grandbaby Nuushka grew up thinking that her grandmama Nuushka was her mama. So they are walking along the road about 4 years later when suddenly Baby Nuushka turns to her mama and says, "Mama, I have a strange feeling in my panties. It is almost as if I peed myself, but I do not remember ever going pee." So realizing what has happened, her grandmama picks her up and rushes her to the nearest hospital, where they find out she is pregnant. So they decide to cut her open for a C-section. And she has a beautiful baby child thing. And so they pick her up and carry her home. And they live happily ever after, for about 4 years. And as they are walking along the street, Grandmama Nuushka dies of a heart attack, because she's so old and fat. And so they're walking along, and then, right after Grandmama Nuushka died, their little baby Manushka turns to her mama and says, "Mama, I have a strange feeling in my panties. It's almost as like I peed myself, but I do not ever remember going pee." So realizing what happened, her mother picks her up and rushes her to the nearest hospital, where they decide to cut her open for a C-section. And she has a beautiful baby. And so they pick her up and carry her home, as they live happily ever after. But now Momma Nuushka is so old she just dies. And so they're walking along the road about 4 years later, and little baby Manushka turns to her mama and says, "Mama, I have a strange feeling in my panties." Realizing what has happened, her mother picks her up and rushes to the nearest hospital, where they find out that she is pregnant. So they decide to cut her open for a C-section. Yeah. But she died in the C-section, because they cut her open too much. So they pick up the little baby Manushka and take her home, where her grandmama raises her as if she is her own child, and they live happily ever after. And little baby Manushka grew and grew until she was as big as her old grandmama, who died because she was so old. But then baby Manushka grew, and she got vigor, and she lived happily ever after. The end.